WCW Pay-Per-Views Returning. Dijak calls WWE contracts illegal. Mercedes Mone shoots on the haters, and more. I'm Ollie Davis, getting elected for the pipe bomb greater than math party, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Pop culture is just one society-wide Ouroboros, the ancient Egyptian symbol of a dragon trying to blow itself. It's a metaphor for how trends just keep cycling over and over again. That's why, in 2024, low-slung jeans are back in fashion, people other than Matt and Jeff Hardy are wearing mesh tops, and Avril Lavigne is my jam right now. I'm with you! And also, almost a quarter of a century after it closed, WCW is now more talked about than ever. Following the Eric Bischoff PR docuseries Who Really Killed WCW on Vice, and WWE filing to trademark the initials WCW for merchandising purposes in early June, WWE has now gone on a spate of trademarking various pay-per-view names from WCW's past. Super Brawl, The Match Beyond, and, most appropriately for me trying to make Solo Sikoa's own bloodline name faction happen, New Blood Rising. All three of those trademarks are for entertainment services, namely an ongoing show about professional wrestling, entertainment services, namely the production and exhibition of professional wrestling events rendered live and through broadcast media, including television and distributed via various platforms across multiple forms of transmission media. WWE has already repurposed several WCW pay-per-view titles for NXT, with Halloween Havoc and the Great American Bash getting annual specials. Perhaps with New Blood Rising, they could be looking to do this for the main roster, with a Bloodline Civil War themed show in the latter part of this year, as November's crown jewel is the only announced PLE post-August. Or it could be something far more substantial. In early June, I speculated that WWE filing to trademark WCW for merchandise purposes could be part of their new parent company, TKO, strategy. One of the first things new media company owners do is take an audit of their new purchases' IP and identify what they could be doing more with. Just look at Disney buying anything, and how they immediately start making too many series of that one thing you liked in the 80s. But WCW has a serious amount of unrealized potential. Just look at AEW's huge buy rate for February's Revolution show, which was built around Sting's retirement. TKO could do anything with it, from a new, hopefully much better documentary, a one-off WCW retro special episode of Monday Night Raw / Nitro, or even a whole new WCW branded spin-off show on Netflix. What do you want to see WWE do with the WCW brand? Let me know in the comments, where I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere with the same answer I'm giving everything right now: put Shane McMahon on it! Before then, though, there's WWE's Money in the Bank PLE on Saturday the 6th, taking place in Toronto, Canada. And a very famous wrestler from Toronto, Canada, has just dropped a tease on her Instagram, with Trish Stratus posting a video of her walking around the street wearing her Stratus faction jacket. Trish hasn't been seen in WWE since losing to Becky Lynch at last September's Payback, where she turned on her protege Zoe Stark. Stark, coincidentally, qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank match on Monday's Raw. Stratus has been advertised for meet and greets for Money in the Bank's premium packages, so it could also be her way of promoting that, rather than an actual wrestling appearance. Unlike Trish, who will probably always be cheered even as a heel, Mercedes Mone will always be booed even if she's a face. So thankfully, on Wednesday's episode of Dynamite, AEW finally booked her as a full-on villain, siding with the heel elite authority figures and entering a feud with returning babyface Britt Baker. Luke speculated on our AEW review podcast that this wasn't always the plan. He reckoned AEW wanted to do a babyface versus babyface feud with Monet and Britt, just as they had done with Monet versus Willow, even though that would have been better as a traditional heel versus face dynamic too. But because Monet got booed so much at Sunday's Forbidden Door by the New York crowd, she's from Boston, Luke suspects Tony Khan decided to course correct and lean in to the fan reactions. And now Mercedes herself might have confirmed this in her latest newsletter. My fellow board members of yours truly, CEO Mercedes Mone, I would like to know whoever was a part of the crowd that switched sides on me in the middle of the match. Oh, do you think I missed that? Come on, have a little fun. fess up now. If there's one thing you can always expect at a wrestling show, it is that the crowd is unpredictable, and you may not know what's going to happen. But one thing is for sure, it will be something surely to remember. In fact, New York City, I should be thanking you, changing sides, cheering on Stephanie over me mid-match. That was like a light bulb moment for me, and now I have some far more exciting stuff up my sleeves. CEO isn't a character, it's a whole entire cooperation, baby. I guess she means corporation there. And we are expanding as we speak. Stay tuned. And Mercedes isn't the only one who's been shooting from the hip. Bang bang. After being called up to the main roster following a successful NXT run, Dijak was shockingly released last Thursday, where he's since gone on his own kind of revenge tour, posting a letter with his side of the story on X, sharing many stories about the terrible Vince McMahon era. He was T-Bar in Retribution, remember, and now going so far as to label WWE's business practices illegal. In an interview with Forbes, Dijak said, "I don't support releasing people. I don't think it's a secret at this point that nobody's a fan of the WWE contract. That isn't a real contract because they can just release you at any point for any reason. I think that's silly nonsense. I don't know why that's allowed to be legal. It just feels illegal to me. And I feel like nobody's taken the time and monetary effort to challenge the legality of it. We're so clearly not independent contractors. That's the most made-up nonsense in the history of the world, and people have talked about this ad nauseum. Something needs to be done about it." Dijak has been on a media hot tag since his release, which has caused some online to turn against him. And as Mansoor points out on X, "It really upsets me that people are desperately searching for a reason to hate Dijak. If you guys could only meet him, you'd know it's not hard to justify hating this miserable prick. Ooh, that's Mansoor." Sorry, let me correct that. Ooh, that's Mansoor. Elite. After reports that former WWE stars Mansoor and Mace were backstage at AEW recently, the two have been announced for their ROH debut under the tag team name the MXM Collection, or M by M Collection. I don't know how it's stylized. Perhaps Mace's former Retribution leader Mustafa Ali could join him and Dijak in AEW too, as the TNA X Division champion was reportedly backstage at Wednesday's show in Chicago, although PW Insider writes it was only to visit with no further details provided. And Fightful Select has reported Ricochet's agent was backstage at Wednesday's episode of Dynamite 2, who is leading negotiations between the two sides. Ricochet's WWE contract officially expired on the 1st of July, meaning he couldn't be part of the Forbidden Door show the night before. Meanwhile, that whole TNA WWE invasion thing is still happening. Honest, NXT's Charlie Dempsey, the real-life son of William Regal, showed up on the July 4th episode of Impact, shoving Leon Slater off the top turnbuckle to then beat everyone up in the ring. And in a final bit of Where Are Wrestlers Currently Wrestling news, Angel Garza has revealed in a Facebook livestream that he's signed a new 3-year contract with WWE, which he described as a very, very, very good deal that he couldn't turn down. He didn't criticize his booking, said he's there to do whatever WWE requires of him, and that he's not going to be on his knees like some co-workers because he's still getting paid and doing his job. Seems like that 3-year deal had a clause in section 19.1a of SAS. Good news episode, Davis. Another excellent news and loads of brilliant WrestleTalk newses. Now it's time to go on with the rest of my day. Oh, mirror. Pete did say I should check out the text on the t-shirt here. Wait a second. Oh my god. Pete was right. It doesn't say pipe bomb greater than maths. It says Chatham. Chatham? What does Chatham even mean? I need to take a photo of this. Send it to Pete, goddammit. He was right. Taking a photo. It's time to do some fun filters though before I send it to him. Let's edit this. I know. I'll invert it. I'll do the old croppity-doo switcheroo trick. Son of a bitch. Math greater than pipe.